world, and welcome to another episode of the South African Spice podcast. Today on the podcast, we have Keaton Chetty, who is going to be joining us and giving us a glimpse of who the creator is behind the content. Hello, Keaton, and welcome to the South African Spice podcast.
Hello, everyone listening. How are you today in the Netherlands?
Great. Netherlands is great. It is currently windy, rainy, and we are probably going to have some snow in the next 2 weeks. So I'm very happy.
Yeah, let's swap because I'm currently sitting in 35 degrees. So
We'll swap.
No, swap. It's fine.
Thank you so much for joining us, Keaton. Very excited to have you here and to get to know you a bit better.
I'm excited to be here, man. I'm so excited. You don't understand.
So firstly, let's get to know you first. For the people who maybe haven't seen your content or who know who you are, can you tell us about like who you are and the creator behind the content?
Okay, so as Alicia said, my name is Keaton Chetty. This is going to come up a lot, so I might as well get it out the way. My Muslim name is Khalid, Khalid, which is great because my initials don't have to change. I was like, yes. And I create content based on the experience of a South African Indian just going through life. And one of my favorite sayings about all of this is that brown kids come together in a circle and we bond over our traumatic experiences. Like we've all had wooden spoons broken over on us and our parents whooped us for no reason.
Yep.
And then now we're at an age where we're in our 20s, we're past school. And when we bring it up with our parents, they always say, no, I never hit you. I never did this.
Yeah, they forget.
They forget.
It's just like
so
forgotten.
weird. I don't understand. Because the impact, we could never forget such a, like, it's crazy that
And
they forget these.
The way they deny it, it almost makes you feel like you imagined it.
Exactly. So, as you can see, I triggered Alicia a little bit.
Yep.
I sent it back.
Yep.
So that's kind of the content that I make. A lot of it is based on my life experiences. And when people say, oh, this never happened, I'm like, it's very hard to make this up. I'm not going to lie to you. It's extremely hard. I've tried. It doesn't work. And I try and be just I don't want to say a voice for the community because I'm not. I'm not. But the goal is to make people laugh. And that's what I do with my content.
And I think you're very successful in that because I always laugh.
Thank you.
Whether it's the actual content or your delivery of the content, I'm not too sure about. I think it's a good combination of the two.
Thank you. I really do try because like even that's the one thing that I push for is the delivery, because I feel like delivery can make something that isn't as funny or something that's very serious, it can make it funny. And so that's something that I really like when I'm making the content. Delivery is a huge part of it because I'm like, if you can nail the comedic timing, oh, so funny.
You do really well. Very proud. Keep it up. Keep it up. It's going to keep people coming back for more. People being me.
It's fine. You just keep coming. As long as you keep bringing me back here, then we can.
Oh yeah, we've got lots to talk about on future episodes. So you're definitely coming back, but we'll keep that as a little bit of a, surprise. Okay, so that's you, like, the content that you create and stuff. But what do people not know about you and who Keaton actually is? Is there anything that we maybe should know about you?
Yeah, there's a lot. But it's mainly because I don't talk about it on the internet, so to speak, is because people are a bit crazy.
Are they mean?
Not in a mean way, in an incredibly parasocial way.
Okay.
In an instance where a lot of messages that I get is, oh, let's be friends. Oh, you seem so cool, which I try and be, and I am as genuine as I possibly can. But also, people forget that just because they see me on a screen and I'm funny and things like that, like I'm a real person. Most people that have seen me on a screen don't know if I have legs or not. Think about it. And now they want to be friends. I'm like, stranger danger. Your parents don't teach you anything. What's wrong with you?
But that's your fault for being so, what's the word? Being so approachable.
People they don't ask for selfies. More people ask me to take pictures of their family. Like if I'm walking, just be like, oh, can you take pictures of us? I'm like, yeah, sure. I don't mind. But it's such a weird thing for me. And like there's stuff that I keep close to the chest. There's like no one knows. Like I never show where I live or like area wise, or even my family, any kids, like any of my nieces, my cousins, none of them are in my videos, and they ask, and I say no, because no,
Is
it's a
that
very
because the internet is a bit of a scary place
internet
as
is a
well?
bit of a wild place. People don't understand that. A lot of people don't understand it. I think the one thing that people what that I'd like to share is like I've gotten a lot of threats, death threats. People are crazy, and I'm like, how do you take what I said as, as something to threaten me? I don't understand the connection there.
Just expand like a little bit more. So threats because of the content that you create, that people don't agree with it, and the kind of response is to threaten your life.
Yeah, like there was one I did, which I am still very proud of this day. This video was amazing. I was talking about how when our president addresses the state of the nation, state of the nation address, and whatever he's saying is almost irrelevant to the sign language ladies. They do such an amazing job. That little corner of the screen, they are fighting for their lives. It is beautiful. I made a video about it, and members of the, I don't want to say call them the deaf community, but I'm not entirely sure what else to say, were threatening me. They were saying, God will come for you. Don't, we're all the same. Don't threaten us like that. I'm like, but it was a joke. The sign
Okay.
language lady reposted the video because she found it funny. So come on, guys.
So not everybody can take a joke. That's what.
No, it's bad. It's really bad, especially now that I've recently started posting Islamic content. Oh, that was an interesting experience for me.
Yeah, I figured that because I've obviously been following you for a really long time, and I've seen when the change happened, but I've also been seeing your videos after that and how you've constantly got to sort of justify. I know you've had these questions about or comments that you were doing this for the likes and for the followers, and I remember that video very clearly. Yeah, it's a bit crazy. But I suppose this has also just opened you up to a brand new audience now with the Islamic content.
I think what makes it better is that I've always made Islamic content, like Islamic jokes as well, like that. But now no one can actually get upset about it because before last year I was making content about it, and people would get upset. They'd say, "Don't make jokes about our religion like this," and I'm like, "That's very funny that you think I'm attacking the religion, but okay, cool, you do you, boo boo." And now that I actually am a Muslim, like no one can actually say that.
Mm,
But it's interesting that most people think that, well, everything I do is just sunshine and rainbows, but it's
yeah.
because I don't give attention to people who are crazy on my comment section. Like what I'll do is if someone has gone too far, I don't respond and attack them. I just delete the comment and move on with my life.
Yeah, I suppose that's the best way because I think also when some of these negative comments come, it's probably they get more kick out of the fact that you've acknowledged and you've responded.
I never give anyone the attention unless I need to. I'm too lazy to explain it. What I'll do is I'll screenshot the comment, but I'll cut out their name and I'll put that in the video. I'm like,
I do hope though that, as time goes by, people kind of like lighten up a little bit and find the humor in it and appreciate that to see it for what it is as opposed to this constant defense mode.
yeah, it's an insane thing. It's I've noticed it since I started posting videos actually, because I think people assume that the majority of the response I get is positive, and it's about 50-50 if I'm being honest.
Okay.
But the way I see it is that if you have the time to comment and be like mean online, I'm just like, "Ah, you're going through some stuff. Clearly, you could no one is like just by default that angry. There's not a person. Something
So
has to happen.
so you just kind of put it down to that person's having a bad day or a rough time in their lives and I'm the outlet.
Yeah, like no one is born with road rage in them. You know, people know it's brought out. It's brought out of them. It wasn't me, but okay.
Well, you say you've been from the time you've posted content. So, how long ago did you start posting, and what made you decide to get into the content that you do?
Initially, for content purposes, like I've always known that I wanted to be a performer of sorts. My life was split in two. When I from a very young age, I wanted to be in conservation and zoology and animals, and I was like, oh my god, if I could build an elephant sanctuary, and oh crazy. And then my mother took me to go watch The Lion King, and I saw The Lion King, and I saw the way they did the sunrise, and I'm like, I changed my mind. That is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make people feel the way I feel right now.
So the Lion King, as in like in the Broadway show?
The Broadway show. I saw it and I was like, I'm going to make people feel the way this production made me feel. And
Yeah.
from then, like I did drama in school. I majored in drama in university. So that's where the performative elements comes. And then in high school, I started getting ready into like YouTube and content and films and movies and the experience that people get when they look at something. Like everyone has a favorite movie. Everyone has a comfort movie. You watch this movie when you're sad, when you're happy. And so I was like, I want to give people like just a bit of this. And in 2020, we had a pandemic. We were fighting for our lives.
Yep.
And towards the end of 2020, I went through some really rough stuff. And which I can't talk about. We'll get that into a sec. Don't worry, I will get into it. But as a distraction, my friend actually recommended, like, dude, you're so funny and things like this. And we love your content. Why didn't you just start posting on TikTok? And TikTok was very new by then. I think
Yeah.
TikTok came in like
It was a few
2019 to South Africa,
yeah,
maybe.
it was like a few years before that well, not even a few years. I think 2020 is when it really like blew up for us because we had nothing else to do.
Exactly. So I was like, I have nothing else to lose. I have nothing else to do either. My university is closed. I can't go back. I can't just like screw it. So I started posting videos. And I love telling this story because I'm still to this day so bad at TikTok and Instagram. It's the funniest thing ever. Like people see me and they're like, oh, this or that. Like I think last year, my girlfriend, well, my wife now, told me, like showed me how to mute a contact or like mute someone last year. And I was like, you can mute people? What? It is amazing. So when I started shooting videos, remember this was before TikTok had like 3-minute videos and 10
Yeah.
minute videos and it was 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds. That's all you had. So I didn't know how to switch from 15 seconds to 30 seconds. I was shooting the rapid content in 15 seconds. I think it took me like 6 to 7 months to be like, oh, you can make videos longer. Oh,
I only laugh because this is such a testament to the fact that it doesn't matter how young or old you are. Technology is technology and it will catch you.
it was the funniest thing ever. The day I realized that you could film out of TikTok, and then I was like, my mind, I was like, Keaton, you're such a smart individual. How is this the thing that escaped you? Because that's how I get videos without the watermark. I don't
Yeah.
film in TikTok. I film it and I'm like, edit it, and then we can post it to everything. There's no
Everything.
watermark. The day I realized I could do that, Alicia, when I tell you that it is a testament to how bad I am at social media. It is hilarious. I am one of the world's worst influencers. Ironic thing about my job is that I'm so bad at it. Oh my lord.
Okay, so eventually as you were learning, so that's how it started as you were like oh, while you were figuring out all these things.
Yeah, it was just I have funny things to say. I'm sure someone else will laugh. Why not?
Yeah, no, definitely. So I want to just break away a little bit from the content. We are going to get back to it, but what I do want to do is just, throw you off here and just see how much you know about your actual family heritage. So, like, what do you know about your own family heritage or your history, how your parents or grandparents made their way to South Africa?
So I know part of my mom's side. My dad's side, it's very difficult because, okay, please don't get sad. I'm sorry, viewers, to depress you about this. But my father passed away when I was 7. And on that day, his family stopped communicating with us. So I knew them up until I was like 6, and then no contact, dead. And
Okay.
so I don't know. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Please, I'm so sorry. But
That's okay. It's life. It's part of your story and that's fine. Own it.
yeah, no, I don't like being the depressing one. But anyway, so I don't know much about like my father's side and my father's history and things like that. My mom's side, however, because grandparents love to talk, and I'm the oldest grandson, so they love to talk to me.
Oh, you lucky you.
So like my grandfather's father was born in India, and then I think when he was 6-ish, they kind of just on the boat, and they it's slavery, and they
Yep.
took him to the sugarcane fields, and Yeah, so that's how my lineage started. And then so my grandparents were born in South Africa, my parents were born in South Africa, I was born, which makes me a third generation South African.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So it's like I'm very, very closely related to the ship that came here, and I'm like once removed from slavery, basically. Because my grandfather, my grandmother also, they were born during apartheid and things like that. I love making that joke because I'm like, Gramps, you're older than Google, you're older than McDonald's.
Yep.
There's so much knowledge in you.
Older than democracy.
You're older than democracy. You survived the war. You survived apartheid. Why are you so angry at everything? Calm down, man.
It's because of all these things.
Like, relax, man. You're a survivor. Don't worry. So that's like how far it came down. My granny's from the village and things like that. So she can speak two different languages, but she can't, like, she struggles to write and things like that because she was never formally taught.
Yeah.
And so like it's amazing how there's so much that just in that small line that happened. Like even my granny and her siblings, one of them was a freedom fighter, one of them was in prison for fighting for freedom. It's insane.
Wow.
It's like learning about it is wild. I don't know if I'm actually allowed to speak about it, but that's why I'm not going into specifics. But yeah, it's third generation South African.
That's amazing. Because you're third generation South African, do you have any ties to like back to the roots in India at all?
In a like a physical sense, not really. Like I'm so South African. I think one of my favorite quotes about the same thing was this girl. She was like, "There's more biltong in my veins than Baja." I'm so South African, you know. And I think we were having this discussion actually. Like
Yeah.
we are so South African. We're Indian by default by race. That is our race. That's not our nationality. We are South African, you know. We are a people. We are I want to say rainbow nation, but are we though? At this point, it's like, but
No,
we're a very, very,
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Rainbow Nation still. That's still something I closely, call
we're a
us.
very mixed race. Like
Yeah.
South Africa has no race. South
Yeah.
Africa is being South African.
Colorful is our race.
Yeah, and I think the only time I'm actually conflicted is in cricket.
I just somehow knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, I think that's like the only time I'm like actively conflicted. Like when I think it was last year or 2 years ago, there was a protest in India where the farmers were protesting, the Punjabi farmers were protesting, and I didn't feel like I was like, oh, I need to be part of this. I need to advocate because I was like, babes, there are people starving like next door
Yeah.
in
Down the
my own
road.
country. Do you know what I mean? Down the road, people are, we have our own problems. I'm South
Yeah.
African, and so I don't feel the need like I don't know, a link.
A link. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do want to go to India, not because I'm Indian and I feel the link, but because it's cool. There's pretty places to take pictures.
That's the reason to travel. Yes, that is the reason to travel.
So it's just yeah, I don't know. I've never felt that like strong connection, and I wasn't raised to be a Tamil or Hindu. I was raised to be Christian. My mother converted when she married my father. So I was raised in a Christian household. The rest of my family are Hindu and Tamil, but the connection, because even when they go back, they're like, oh, it's so different.
Do they go back?
No, my mother's been, my grandmother goes like once a year. She loves it. She's like, oh, and her sisters go with her. So when they go, they're like, no, they don't do what we do, and it's not the same. And I'm like, obviously it's not the same. What do you mean?
I think it's so cool that they go because when they go back, do they actually go back to their hometowns or their home villages?
They go back to home because all of them can speak and they feel more at home in India than South Africa, which is weird because they grew up in South Africa.
But that also shows like how the difference in what generation you are makes because in my family it's only really I think the aunties and stuff that have done the research and have gone to find our family back there that have gone. But everybody else is just like, no, this is home, this is where, our roots are and where we live and how we do things.
Exactly. I agree. I find it interesting. Like I like looking into it. Because now you find like, oh, we're descended from kings. And then you get the opposite, like, oh, we're descended from poverty. Oh no.
Yep.
Let's not talk about that one. We're
Leave
descended from
that there.
kings.
Yeah.
I find that Like looking back is interesting. I think it's really cool to track it, but that's where the interest stops. I'm not trying to be Indian. I'm just showing that I'm South African Indian, you know?
I think it's important. I mean, acknowledging it as part of the part of it that identifies with you and the part of it that defines you, but it's not. I think you and I very much aligned on that. We identify stronger with being, South African, and that's who we are more than that. And it doesn't mean that we don't appreciate what happened in the past and we don't acknowledge it. It just means that we have evolved through the generations to know that this is where we are. This is where we currently are. And I feel like I'm not living in that past. I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. I'm living in what we are right now.
Exactly. And it's not a lack of appreciation for our culture, because let's be real, we'll still watch Bollywood, we'll still listen to Desi music. Any opportunity to dress up like we're going to a wedding and wear a lenga or a sari and get mendi done, any opportunity, I'm down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Biryani, oh goodness, don't get me started on that.
The meal that you have any time of day.
Any time of day, yes. I'm gonna make a hoodie like that actually. This will be a big biryani pot. Anyway, the point is that it's not a lack of appreciation. It's an acceptance that we were born here. This is our home. Yes, we like biryani, but we also want a braai. You know,
Exactly.
it's an acceptance that yes, we're South African. We are a bridged generation. There's a gap, and we fill that gap.
No, absolutely. I love that. I really, really do love that. Okay, now I want to get back into your content. Like your skits are very funny, or it's not even skits. It's you explaining things, or making mention of things, and I find them quite hilarious. But it's also it's varied, right? And it's not on one particular thing. It's not on one particular topic or one particular person. So all in all, like who's your muse, who's your inspiration, what is your inspiration behind the content? Is it based on specific incidents that have happened, or is it just based on things that you've witnessed happening with other people?
It's both. I would lie, like, because I've started to realize is with this content is that we're all so similar, and not in a like our interests and things like that. It's just the events that happen to us. There's too many people in the world for you to have like a unique experience. That's the
Yeah.
word. There's too many of us. We all experience the same, like getting whooped by a mother is getting whooped by a mother. There is no difference. Pain is pain.
Whether it was with a belt or a dishcloth or a wooden spoon or a hanger or a shoe.
But do you see what I mean? We all got whooped with the same things as well. So when I go and like I'm with my family and I see something, I'm like, there is no way that this only happens in my family. No way. And then I'll go to another family and I'll see it. I'm like, you see, there we go. There it is. It's not just me. So it's like I draw experience from family and friends, and it's never in a disrespectful way. It's more in an observational way. The only time I'm actively disrespectful, you'll know, I I talk about it in a sense like people are doing wrong things in families. Like one thing, specific example, very specific example. Um, People will say, and I know they will, that my future wife is too dark, and that immediately triggers things like when aunties, when we were growing up, would say, "Don't play in the sun; you'll get too dark." Every single auntie, there's at least two aunties in every family that has said that to all of us.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's not just my family. It's so I draw inspiration from my family and others around me, because a lot of my friends and things, we are so close that I would go to their house and like have dinner, and like we'd celebrate Diwali together. And now it will be Eid and breaking fast, and every family is different, but the majority of experiences are the same. And that's where I draw the inspiration. And even you're looking at it like, yeah, those.
Yeah, I'm actually just thinking about those comments and how often we used to hear it, and it saddens me because so I'm in the Netherlands now, and I mean I'm not a darker skin Indian. I'm quite lighter skin, and it really used to annoy me because when I was growing up, people automatically would be like, "Oh, you're Hindi," and I'm like, "I'm not Hindi. I'm Tamil," but I wasn't dark enough to be considered Tamil, and I was like, that's so bad. Like, how can you say that to somebody? And yet here, being, the skin tone that I am, I am considered dark skinned here. They consider me dark skinned, but I have like, family and friends that are darker skinned than me, and I feel bad. I'm like, geez, what are they gonna say when you guys come here? But it takes me back to a lot of those conversations and comments that the aunties and the grannies and even some uncles, because you get those Vus uncles,
Oh, uncles are a different breed.
and they make all these comments about like, go scrub your face, or take the orange sack and don't go stand in the sun and put your hat on, and why are you going to the beach, and playing all the sports and stuff, and really just not having the understanding of how like skin tone works, and making it such a defining factor that it made so many people so conscious about their own skin tone. And I think it's always going to be an issue, and it's not only South Africa, it's internationally. Skin tone is always going to be a thing until people stop looking through those lenses.
100%. I've said this. I have something that I say with my chest, that everyone, there's a famous quote. Nelson Mandela said that children aren't born racist. Children are taught to be racist. And I'm like, no, sorry, uncle. Everyone's kind of racist.
Do you think so? I think we're born. I think we are.
Do you want to know why I say that? It's because it's not racism towards other people.
Mm.
It's what people like to call colorism. I'm like, colorism is racism, but it's fine. We'll get to that in a second. But it's like Indian people don't like Indian people.
Yeah.
You know?
Based on skin tone.
Based on skin tone. People of
Based
color
on
don't
skin
like
tone.
people of color based on skin tone.
But I do think it is something that's taught. And why I say that is because, I mean, it runs in our families and it's taught by our families, because I've looked at it as I was starting up the podcast. I've looked at it through the eyes of myself, my mother, my grandparents, my sister, and then also my nephews. And I remember very clearly having my nephews go to school for the first time, and they'd come home and they'd talk about their friends, and my mom would say, oh, but like, what are your friends like, what race are they? And they didn't understand what that meant. And then she'd ask, but like, what color are they? And my nephews would be so confused as like these 6-year-old boys, and like they'd come home and be like, what do you mean what color? Like, they brown, I'm brown. And in order to get the understanding of what race, my mother would then ask like, what kind of hair do they have? And that's how we kind of we do the linking in our brains. We do the linking for the next generation. We automatically bold the connotations and the denotations for these things, but it's not something that I think is naturally there.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, the more the like as days progress, I'm like, people are mean for no reason.
Talking about the racism and stuff, like, I'm sure your audience is quite diverse, where it's not just Indian people or South African Indians that view it. So what kind of reactions do you get from like the non-Indians or even the non-South Africans that view your content?
So a lot of the non-South African, like I look at my audience analytics, and for a while, I think 65% of my audience was from the rest of the world.
Oh, wow.
Majority split in South Africa. I don't even think it's a majority split right now, if I'm being honest, from a South African perspective. But a lot of people from different nations of color, let's just say that, I don't know how else to say it, agree with me because the experience was the same. I've got people in Romania saying like, no, Romanian moms are exactly the same. They'll whoop us, they will whoop us. I'm like, yeah, I see, people of color. And then I started to realize that it's not a race thing. It was more of a how we were brought up. Like if our parents struggled,
Yeah.
we were brought up the same. If I look at different, like a lot of the Latina community, the Arab community, the Indian community from Mauritius, they love my stuff, and it's because it's familiar to them. It's
Yeah.
relatable. And then I've got Romanian fans, I've got Serbian fans, I've got some German fans because they agree. They were like, our mothers have whooped us. We keep packets under the sink. And it's just the way we're brought up. Like everything is Tupperware. We put stuff in butter containers, in the flora containers as leftovers. It's a thing that a lot of people can, more than we realize, actually relate to. So it's weird. Like I get a lot of positive comments about it. And even from non-South Africans, non-Indian people, it's a learning experience for them. They're like, oh, we didn't know you guys did this. We didn't even know like you guys had this. And now it's funny because I got bullied growing up for the food I used to bring to school. Why is your rice yellow? You know? But now, because people love the food so much, they relate to it even more. Like, oh, we never knew your food was like this. I'm like, of course you never knew, because you bullied us for it.
Yeah, do you find that a lot of the things that you got bullied for as like a child or growing up are the things that people appreciate most about Indians now? Because I do.
It makes me so, so upset. Oh my God, let me tell you something. The amount of like masala chai and chai lattes and turmeric this and ginger. Oh, it makes me so angry. They try and sell it back to us as well. It irritates me because of how like poorly treated we were for it growing up. And these are people who are now our age. I'm like, babes, you were in school talking shit. Now you wanna sell
Yep.
me flipping turmeric lattes. Shut up. Go away. Go. It really does bug me. And I feel conflicted sometimes.
Well, I like the fact that it is that a lot of Indian stuff is kind of reaching other people and like a broader market. What I tend to want to, pick a bone about is the fact that it's coming out as, oh, this is new and revolutionary. And we're like, no, man, our people have been doing this for such a long time. We have been oiling our hair from the time we were born. You were born, your hair gets shaved off, and then they start oiling it from then. And like the benefits of like turmeric, and it's like, yeah, but didn't you know? From those days we've been saying. The benefits of spices, we like, why do you think we have the curries and we're okay? But I do like the fact that it is getting the acknowledgement it deserves. I just wish it came with a little less.
Condescension, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Because I feel very, I'm like, why are you trying to sell it to me? And I moan about it a lot.
But I think it's one generation off of being like normal. Everything, there's progression. There's progression with things, and as things get introduced to people and you start like learning more of it. So maybe we're just like one or two generations off it being like norm and normalized and not have this thing attached to it.
I don't know. It's possible, but sometimes in 2019, no, yeah, 2019, 2020, somewhere around there, I did my research paper for my honors, and I was doing a lot of consensus, population consensus, and things like that. And I don't think Indian people realize how much of like a minority we are in this country.
In terms of?
In terms of just percentage of population in 2019, that was the last consensus, though that was the data I had to work with, which means that I did my thesis in 2021. Okay, yes, timeline, sorry, it's confused. 2019, we made up, I think, roughly 4.2% of the population.
Yeah.
Of South Africa's population. I don't think Indian people understand how much of a minority we are. And I think now, with the most recent consensus, we make, I think it's 4.6.
Yeah, it's not a big number.
It's not a big number of total population. And I'm like, guys, you need to understand, like, we are a very small percentage of this country. The fact that we have anything is a miracle.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think we don't realize it because we see so many Indian people around and we feel so surrounded by them, and we've obviously got a lot of Indian communities and Indian places that we can relate to or identify. But the numbers, I've also looked at the numbers previously, and it's not all that big.
It's like, it's really, really small. We
Yeah.
are a minority of a minority because it's by racial standards, it's black people with the majority, white people in the middle, Indian people, Asians at the bottom. Because I think Asian people made 1.2%.
And then colored people also probably
Oh, and colored people.
I think colored people are quite high. Yeah.
I
Definitely
think more than white people. I
than
was
white.
like, so when I read that, I'm like, we're actually doing pretty well for ourselves, guys. Goddamn, well done, mom. Like I looked at that, I looked at my mother, I'm like, well done. Nah, well done. You did a good one. You did a good one.
Okay, talking about your mother now that you brought her up, do your family like react to your content?
My mom is one of my biggest supporters. It is the funniest thing ever. Like sometimes she'll phone me, she'll be like, I was looking at your videos last night before bed. I'm like, Mom, that is not the time to look at my videos. Trust me. Please don't do that. You will not sleep. Because I'll say something and then you'll wanna question me about it. Don't do it. My mom is actually like one of the most supportive people in my lives. It's actually amazing. I'm so lucky because so many people don't have that. My family are very supportive in a sense that now they realize that they can't do dumb things around me. Because yes, it's anonymous, there's no names involved, but I don't care.
But is that supportive or is that taking away your content?
Either way, it doesn't matter. No, they stopped acting faulty. It works for me. It's fear. No, genuinely, because like I've noticed it now. Because when I was younger, I used to let a lot of things like slide and things like that, and I didn't really stand up for myself. And now I'm like, cool. Now I stand up for myself in person, and I take it home with me. I'm like, ah. And again, no names,
But
but
they
we all
know.
know who it's about. Yeah.
Yep, they know. They know. And because a lot of your content I've seen is also based on like the typical Indian woman things, and I know you base a lot of it on your girlfriend, now wife. What was her reaction to it? Did she ever like give you the slap and be like, "How can you say these things?" Or was it
Oh, no,
like,
she's just as much of a
"I'll
clown
own
as
it"?
I am. My
Okay.
lord. So we were having this conversation yesterday actually, and I was saying people probably think because a lot of the comments when I make videos about brown girls, first of all, two things. Number one, when I make a video about brown girls, I immediately make a video about brown boys for two reasons. Number one, to balance out the scale. I don't pick favorites. I discriminate equally. And number two, to point out the hypocrites. Because if you'll get upset about the brown girl videos, you'll have to get upset about the brown boy videos. Y'all can't laugh at those. And when I do that, no one can complain. And because of that, a lot of people think, oh, another brown man, he's just being a misogynist, this and that, and things like that. And my wife and I, future wife, my finance, as we say, we were talking about it yesterday, and we were saying that people probably think that she's this very timid, very quiet, like weak personality. And I'm like, oh, guys, y'all don't want to. No, no, no. She's scary.
No, it's true because that's exactly what I thought. I like when I sit back and I look at it, I'm like, oh, okay, she must be like really, quiet. So I'm thinking in my head opposites.
The reason people probably think that is that I'm talking over her. And that's how people see it. And I'm like, guys, the difference between myself and my finance is that I can filter it before it comes out of my mouth. I can still filter it into a PG version. She cannot.
So she's my kind of people then.
He is 100% kind of people. Y'all don't understand. It's actually scary. Like when people comment things like bad things about me, I'm like, guys, please, I don't want to get a community guideline strike, please. I don't want to. I can filter it. I can stop myself. She
Yeah.
can't. She lets it go.
We need more of that.
It's hilarious.
I like her.
She's great. She's amazing. She's a huge inspiration. She's someone that I look to for creative juices, and sometimes she doesn't think I take it far enough. Like sometimes,
Really?
yeah. The one day I made a video that said, I can now that I'm getting married, I can finally say I have my own pet demon. And so I said that it's a joke, guys. Everyone calm down. I called her a demon. She said she found me on a checkers packet on the side of the road. Right. And I sent it to her. And her response, exact words, were not a checkers packet, a bin bag. Get it right. That's the level of clown that we are dealing with, the two of us. And people don't understand that.
Is it safe to say that the amount of entertainment you give is probably the same amount of entertainment you get from her?
110%.
That's great.
She's threatening my position. One of us has to be the funny one. One of us has to be the good looking one. She cannot be the funny and the good looking one. I have to be the funny one. I'm trying to maintain my crown. She's making it very difficult for me right now. That's the level of clownness that we are currently.
Well, it sounds like your competition is strong. You need to up your game here.
Bad, just bad, guys. It's bad.
Well, I can't wait to actually see more videos about her. Now having the context also and understanding that it's not, the polar opposite, it's going to make a huge difference to how things are viewed. For me, I know, definitely.
Y'all don't understand. It's gonna be so scary. I'm scared for the public. I'm not scared. I'm scared. I'm scared personally, but I'm scared for the public. Oh, the public is not ready for that. Oh Lord, that's gonna be.
Oh, and it's gonna be marriage, and once everything happens, the amount of content that you are going to have, it's gonna be fabulous. I can't wait.
Neither can I.
I think it's actually gonna be some of your most exciting content.
No, like no in general, because like the way I've described it personally, because I know eventually her and I will make content together, and
Yeah.
if she's comfortable putting her face out there, completely understand, but she'll speak
Yeah.
and things like that, which will be so much funnier. But I described it to a friend that I was saying that in movies where they have the nuclear option and there's two people with the keys and they turn the key and they push the button, he
Mhm.
has both the keys. That's what's scary about this whole situation. I'm the side character. I'm Ron.
Hey, 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 hey. First movie, Ron proved himself, okay? Don't hate on the ginger.
He was useless for like 5 to 6-ish movies, and then he was Shup at the end. Well, he wasn't. He was even worse at the end, but he redeemed himself.
Okay, we're not gonna get into this Harry Potter thing because then we're gonna be here for hours and it's just never gonna end because we're both fans.
Fine, fine, fine. Don't worry. Fine. We'll get there. We'll get there.
But yeah, okay. So I actually can't wait to see the content, and I do hope she makes an appearance, even if it's just her voice. I think it would make the world of a difference. But then, good luck to you because I don't know how you're going to compete with that.
I don't know. It's a future problem. We'll get there.
If she is anything like what I'm imagining her to be in my head based on your description, I wish you luck. Start prepping now. You're going to need it.
Of course, but it's not. It's an amazing thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like no part of I make jokes about like I'm scared. Like one day I'm gonna come home. She's gonna be sharpening a knife, and I'm gonna phone a friend and be like, guys, she doesn't cook. She's been sharpening this knife the whole day. I am so scared right now.
I promise you, every husband makes that joke and has those thoughts, my own included.
Yeah. And the thing is, I make those jokes because I know that the reality of the situation is that if there was a person that I could find, I am the happiest person in the world knowing that it was her.
Oh, that is so special.
You know what I mean? Like I
Yep.
make these jokes because I know. Yes, she's scary. Don't get me wrong. She is scary. And one day I'm going to say something, she's gonna clap me. It's going to be hilarious. It's not even I'm gonna wake up in hospital. I'm like, oh, it's worth it. Oh, whatever I said, it was worth it. I know that's the type of relationship we will have,
Yeah.
but it's because I'm so excited about it that I can make these jokes.
I think it's super special. You're in for a good ride, a great journey ahead.
Yeah.
And that brings us, almost to the end of our very first conversation and getting to know you. We spoke about a lot of things, a lot of different areas of our lives, and we did touch on this a bit. But just to kind of round off, Keaton Chetty, what kind of South African Indian are you?
A broken one.
A clown. That's what you are. You're a clown.
I'm a brown clown. I'm a holy brown clown. But I am the type of South African Indian that is South African by nationality. My heart bleeds green and gold until it's cricket season, then I get confused. And I'm Indian by race and by culture ish, But I'm a South African by nationality and Indian by race and culture. And the South African influence in my culture is insane because like masala on the braai is really nice,
Yep.
you know.
But also the braai is really
But
important.
also the braai is very very nice.
Like you also have the braai, and then the next day you'll take the leftovers and make a chutney.
I'm
Right.
that type of South African Indian. I don't feel like an immediate connection to India because I wasn't raised there. I never went there. I've never been. I have no family there that I am aware of. So I'm that type of South African. I'm a born free South African Indian.
Thank you for that. I think that's pretty cool. I've had a lot of fun getting to know you and coming to the realization that you really are a clown, even in real
I
life.
really am. Like I'm trying to be as authentic as I am, guys. No one listens to me.
Yeah, and I think it will make a very big difference to how your content is viewed if anybody has heard this. And I think that's great. I know this won't be the last time we hear from you though, because we are going to be doing some very cool things and you will be joining us on the podcast a number of times. We've got a very cool segment coming up, and we will be revealing that in the next few weeks because that is a work in progress. And I'm very excited about that because I do value your opinion and the way that you view things, and I think it is going to come across very well to our audience and the people who can relate to, both you and I and the way we grew up and the stories that we share, because we do have quite a lot of similarities, and religion is probably going to be one of the very first topics we talk about. But thank you for your time today and for, giving us all your authentic answers and the amount of laughing that you've caused. I probably can't edit a lot of that out of this podcast, which is fine, because that just shows that having a serious conversation with you is very difficult because the clown is going to come in, but I'm happy with that. Humor heals all.
Thank you. God damn it, I've been trying to say that to so many people. God, thank you.
And yeah, I think just lastly, do you have anything you would like to say before we wrap up?
Mainly just thank you so much for this opportunity. I love talking about it. It's a lot of fun. I really, really do. And I don't feel the need to like promote myself. I think I kind of did that throughout the whole episode, self-promotion. But no, mainly just thank you so much. And I really look forward to this. I'm actually so excited. You don't understand. Oh goodness. So excited.
I'm also very excited. What I will do is I will add all your links into the show notes. So if you're not already following Keaton, please make sure you do so. You will not be disappointed. Content is great. If you're ever having a rough day, this will definitely cheer you up in some way, or it will stir some emotion. What the emotion is, I cannot guarantee. It really depends on what video you watch, but it is bound to stir up something.
It'll make you feel something.
Yes, you'll feel. If you're in a slump and you need a feeling,
yeah,
this is the content you watch. Thank you so much, Keaton, and until our next episode, Shup, sweet, and aware. Lots of love.